Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a dreamy episode of the Media Boat Podcast, your weekly rundown where we talk movies, TV, music, and video games, but not necessarily in that order. My name is Mike. His name is Matt.
My name is Matt. His name is Mike. Thank you for joining us on the Media Boat Podcast today. It is February the 12th, 2026. It is episode 525, actually, I believe, because I
Yeah,
haven't updated
it's
this yet.
212. Get that palindrome in there. Also recording today because tomorrow is Black Friday. Or sorry. Yeah, it's
No, it's
Black
not.
Friday.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
That's
It's Friday the
November.
13th. It's a
It's February. February. It's
but
not.
it's Friday the 13th. We don't want to record it's superstitious and jinx on Friday the
I
13th.
don't think that's why. I think actually you're just busy, but sure, that
Well, yeah,
works
that
too.
too.
Any excuse. Any excuse to not record. Anyway. But yeah, no, just hey, we're the Media Boat Podcast. It shouldn't be a super long one today.
Nope. So let's get right into it with the
Yeah,
music section. Start the music
nice.
section with the Billboard. Start the Billboard with the Hot 100. And the hottest song in the land is Choosing Texas by Ella Langley. At 2, Man, I Need by Olivia Dean. At 3, Ordinary by Alex Warren. Coming in at 4, I Just Might by Bruno Mars. And running at your top 5, Golden by Huntrix, those various artists.
Yep.
But yeah, Choosing Texas, Ella Langley.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to number one. D- uh, going up to number one for the first time.
As for your albums chart, your Billboard 200, at number 1 is Octane by Don Tolive. At 2, getting that Grammy bump, Debí tirar más fotos by Bad Bunny. Which means at 3 is the problem himself, Morgan Wallen. Coming in at 4, The Art of Loving by Olivia Dean. And running at your top 5, The Life of a Showgirl by Taylor Swift.
Yeah, that Don Toliver record debuts at number one, but otherwise, yeah, same old, same old. You mentioned the Grammys bump for Bad Bunny, but and I assume a Super Bowl bump
Yes.
will be next week, so he'll probably stay up there.
If you didn't like any of those albums, we have new releases, including Wuthering Heights. This one by Charlie XCX, but yes, based
Yes.
off the book, which is being turned into a movie, which is being a record produced by Charlie XCX, not to be confused with the other movie starring Charlie XCX.
Yes, no, this isn't The Moment, the movie that is roughly about Charlie. No, this is timed to the release of the Emerald Fennell directed Wuthering Heights film. And I believe Charlie is also in that somewhere as like a supporting part.
Well, if you want to surprise Charlie XCX, you can go see Wuthering Heights in theaters. We also have We Mean It, Man by Gogol Bordello. And lastly, To Whom This May Concern by Jill Scott. All right, let's get into the music news. And whoa, what a music story do we have for you?
Yeah, a little crossover with politics, unfortunately. But it was probably the biggest thing to report on this week.
Oh, it definitely was because when you have multiple artists seeking to leave an agency,
Hmm.
it's a big deal,
Yeah.
especially if that CEO, say Casey Wasserman of Wasserman Agency, just happened to have connections to the late financier and convicted sexual offender Jeffrey Epstein's and associate Ghislaine Maxwell,
Yes.
as his name emerged in the documents spewed out last week.
Hmm.
The artist's agents are said to have presented Wasserman with an ultimatum that he either step down and divest or sell all the company, which he has thus so far declined. However, Wasserman is said to be meeting with top executives at the company later this week to determine a course of action. He is chairman of the organization committee for the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics, where he is also facing pressure to step down. Several artists with beginning with Best Coast Bethany Costantino, and including Chapel Roan and top indie acts Wednesday, Water from Your Eyes, and Beach Bunny have all posted social media messages expressing unhappiness with Wasserman and are seeking or beginning the process to leave. I saw that Chapel Roan was in the process of actually leaving Wasserman Agency.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if all of those artists depart sooner than later and more follow in their wake. Because, yeah, no one wants to do business with this guy. It is also an interesting coincidence of sorts, not really coincidence, to for like local news to have him also be on that board, the committee for the LA Olympics, which is
Mhm.
unfortunate. And now that we realize that.
Yes, but it does make sense because he all or the company, not he specifically, but the company also represents different athletes. And Abby
Mhm.
Wambach, being one of those athletes, has come out and basically done the Chapel Roan thing where she also wants to leave.
Yeah. So, yeah, don't be surprised if this continues on until something gives, like either he gives or he suddenly does not have a roster to represent.
More than likely, he'll want to save his name more than his company's name, but we'll
Uh,
see what happens.
we'll see, but it's rough.
Yeah, I mean, consequences of your actions.
Yes, exactly.
And also, as with the Grammys last week, people saying, why should people at the Grammys speak up? Why don't they do something? Well, hey,
Hmm.
actually doing something.
It's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
you love to see that when it happens.
All right. Well, did you listen to anything of note?
No, not really of note. No, kind of a slower week.
Okay. Well, I did my homework. I listened to Rat Boys.
Oh, good. Just this most recent record, or did you dive
Yes.
into the back catalog
I
yet?
tried to dive into Window, but I got
Yeah,
busy and held up doing other stuff.
fair, fair.
So yeah, I listened to it. Didn't grab me as much as I you hyped it up to be.
All right, fair.
Not not bad by any stretch of the record. Not to like write home to like tell you about, but at least for me. I if I'm listening to this, I'm like, oh yeah, this pins you to a T. And like, yeah, this is
Well,
a
I
very
mean,
Matt record.
that is true. But yeah, I mean, there's enough influences in there. Like some of the songs are a little bit more straightforward than others. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
But yeah, didn't hate it, didn't quite love it completely.
All
So more of a meh for me, and that be meh for most people too. Until the big record where they cross over into pop and just completely like take over everything.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think
Uh,
this is by far the most mainstream they've sounded, to give you an idea. So,
all right, let's get into video game where we start with new releases, and we have High on Life 2 for the PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. It's back
why? Why are we doing this again?
because the first one was popular. I don't want to say successful, it was popular.
And in case anybody is wondering, no, that guy is not involved in the sequel. Not as a voice, not as a creative,
Well,
nothing.
in the inspired by creations, whatever the
I guess they have to
adapted
credit him
from.
somewhere,
Yes,
but yeah, for the most
based
part, he's not.
on original ideas or creatures
Right.
from the mind of,
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I'm blanking on his name, by the way. The Rick and Morty guy, the original guy.
yeah,
I forget what
Roland,
his name is.
Royland.
Yes, Justin Roiland. Thank you.
Yep. All right.
Or no, thank you.
But if you don't want to play High on Life 2, we have
No,
other games, including Reanimal
good
for
name.
PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and the Switch 2. There's also Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma for the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Avowed comes to the PS5, previously
Yes.
Xbox exclusive. We also have your wide release of Star Trek Voyager, Across the Unknown.
We did the
Wide
same
release for the
thing.
PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and the Switch 2. Paranorma Site, The Mermaid's Curse for the PC and the Switch. And lastly, Styx, Blades of Greed for the PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X.
I included that last. I don't use. I've been trying to not include games that I've never even heard of on this list. Technically, I've never heard of Styx Blades of Greed, but I thought, is it the band? And so
Or
I
is it the
included
river?
it. It's probably the river. You're probably right, but I want to believe that it's the band,
I thought that too. It's like, oh, it's just the band.
the Styx video game.
Yes. All right. Well, we had, I'm glad we're clear recording today because
Hmm.
State of Play for
Yes.
February was, I don't know, an hour ago.
It was a few hours ago, but yes, it aired about like 2 or 3, I think, in the afternoon.
Well, it was a packed show clocking in at just over an hour.
Hmm.
And State of Play 2026 for February, whew, quite a lineup. So I'm just going to go through what we have here,
Yeah,
where they have this story trailer for 007 First Light. This is a
yeah,
brand new story trailer. Deep dive into IO Interactive's original take on that James Bond game. It looks
sure.
good.
Yeah, I mean,
It still looks good.
I think the more they show it, I mean, it seems like it's delivering on like at least the cinematic James Bond experience. I think a lot of people are wondering, where do we get the Hitman stuff from
Hmm.
the Hitman guys? That's certain level of expectations there because people who love those Hitman games love those Hitman games. So yeah, but it's neat that they're going so hard on story because they know that that's where most people are going to want their bread buttered here. They're going to want to be James Bond.
Right. And it looks like you get to be James Bond in this.
Cool.
Hitmen and gadgets galore.
Mhm, mhm,
We also
mhm.
had four, loop, or is this for loop?
For loop? I don't know.
I don't know. There's a video breakdown of it now, a deeper dive into that game. They also showed Beasts of Reincarnation, the one dog action RPG that's coming out later this year, August 4th. There's also Brigadine Abyss. It returns from a blast from the past back in 1998.
Wow.
And, well, that was the original title. And 6 years since Brigadine, The Legend of Runerja.
Not to be confused with Brigadoon Abyss, which is a black hole that you fall into and you have to watch the musical Brigadoon over and over and over again.
Hey, you like Castlevania games? Well,
Not really.
Castlevania, Belmont's Curse
Oh,
is coming to the PS5,
it's a lousy day to have a curse.
as well as Control Resonant with its gameplay reveal trailer.
Yeah, more that we than we saw previously where it was at, which I think was the Game Awards in December. I
Hmm.
think was the big reveal. So yeah, seeing a little bit more of that gameplay, the more melee focused kind of combat is good to see.
Yep. If you like angels, demons, and ancient gods,
I like
then the
one out of the three of
announcement
those.
of Crimson Moon may be enticing to you.
Maybe I don't know.
The game is supposed to launch later this year on PS5. It's, you know, one of those hack and slashers.
Sure.
Could be good. Developed by probably Monsters. That's not me guessing.
You
That's
don't
just
you
the
don't
name.
know?
That's just the name of the studio. Probably Monsters.
Studio named probably Monsters.
But it's an action adventure RPG. So, you know, mileage may vary.
Sure.
They also showed Octopus Darwin's Darwin's Paradox and Dead or Alive 6 last round for all you DOA heads. I think you're called
Yeah,
DOA heads.
yeah, and I believe that they also confirmed that a brand new Dead or Alive fighting game is in development. So, we'll see that series come back.
All right. Then we had the big hitters, as if Dead or Alive 6 was not a big hitter for you.
No.
Death Stranding 2, On the Beach, will be coming to PC on March 19th, just over a month away.
Yep, yep.
And then God of War had two big announcements. The first one being a trilogy remake. The second
Yeah.
one being a 2D action platformer called God of War Sons of Sparta, which is out today. And I'm going to
Yeah.
play it today or tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what you think about that. I have actually not seen any reactions to what that game how that game actually plays. It looks
Mhm.
like to be kind of like a side-scrolling brawler kind of thing. But yeah, I haven't seen much feedback about people who've actually played it yet. So yeah, interesting to see. As for the remaster, is that something that you're interested in? I mean, I assume that you have history with the original series.
Yes.
Um, but those games, I'm not sure how well they've aged. And so I think that'll be really interesting watching those games in a modern lens, especially, let's say, the cutscenes and maybe some of the quick time events. Maybe questionable
I
now.
know the one you're talking about, the one everyone talks about. Well, the one in every game that everyone talks about for those first three. But here's what interests me about this.
Okay.
They're calling it remake. You know what else got a
Oh, and
remake?
not remaster.
Final Fantasy VII got a remake. And they split that up into a trilogy.
Yeah,
So how big and
but
how different are they going with this type of game?
I would imagine not very. I think that even though they're not using remaster in the name, I want to say that there's no way that they're developing complete remakes, Final Fantasy VII style of those games. I just can't imagine they're tackling such a big project when the PS5 is, according to some, on the way out already. I think that they would not announce it that way unless this was a much simpler package.
Or maybe this is just their way of trying to figure out what to do before continuing the story uh from the current God of Wars.
Yeah, I mean,
Where they're in
yeah.
like I don't know, Norse mythology. He killed all the Norse mythology, so is it still mythology if there is no Norse gods anymore?
Yeah, I don't know.
Spoilers if you
It's
haven't played, by the way.
I think it's a tough act to follow, right? I feel like those games were doing something completely different. And I think that they probably think there's demand for PS2 nostalgia, maybe that there wasn't before. And so why not strike when the iron is hot?
It's called a remake because they're going to take the open world approach.
Okay. I mean, those original games were pretty linear level based, right? Like,
Exactly,
so
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not Santa Monica. I'm assuming Sony Santa Monica is the one developing this.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm like, I don't know what they're thinking. So we'll see, I guess.
I'm just saying, if it's an open world God of War game, I could see that like being popular. Like they did a little bit of it in God of War Ragnarok in like a certain area. It's like let's just take that and let's expand on it.
Yeah. Uh,
All right. Well, if you're into God of War, and I get us talking into God of War, we also have Ghost of Yotai Legends with a release date of March 10th. So
yes.
strike up those DLC and
It's
get your quick times ready.
it's a multiplayer focus thing, which is similar to what they did with the last game in this series,
Mhm.
where they released a multiplayer based DLC after the original game's release. So this is just following in in that same kind of release pattern, and I remember people liking that multiplayer from the last Ghosts game. So hey, sure, people are
Yep.
probably looking forward to this.
It's a not a direct sequel, it's the 1.5 update that's coming.
Yeah.
All right, and then we also had from Saber Interactive a John Wick game where you get to play as the Baba Yaga himself. It's coming to the PS5, but no release date and no official title is known yet. Also, like many details, just saying like, "Hey, we're making a John Wick game."
Yeah, and Keanu Reeves is in it this time.
Yep.
because they put there have been John Wick video games. It's just that they haven't had that character in them for whatever reason. And so yeah, actually playing as Keanu Reeves is the hook here. Does this mean that he's gonna probably show up at Summer Games Fest? Probably.
Yeah, he's just an every other year now type of thing.
Yeah.
All right. But we're not done. PlayStation also announced a sequel to a game I was very beloved and a studio very local to us in Orange, California. Ember Labs returns with Kina, Scars of Cosmora.
Yeah.
It'll launch this year on the PS5 and the PC. And
Yeah.
they aged up Kina and it looks great.
Yeah, sequel to Kena Bridge of Spirits. Is that the
Yep.
game's original title?
Hmm.
And which was kind of interesting because it was like a little bit of a throwback to kind of PS2 era adventure
Yep. A little bit of Jack and
platformers.
Daxter throwback.
Yeah, it was neat. I played a little bit of that, and it's a neat game. I don't know how much I would have loved it as it went on. I heard that it had some particularly challenging parts later on, if I remember from what you told me back in the day.
Yeah, but I also ended up
Yeah.
platining that game, so
Oh,
very
yeah.
interested in the sequel, and
Yeah.
it's about damn time. I think this was a
Yeah.
2020 game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was a launch, a round launch for PS5. I think you're
Hmm.
right. So I think 2020 is probably on the dot.
Yep. Let's see here. Then just a couple of other notes. We had Legacy of Kain, Defiance remastered, which is coming on March 3rd to the PS5 and PS4. Marathon is coming out in a couple of weeks on March 5th. Yes, they're still Bungie's still pushing for Marathon to
Yep.
be its next thing.
What a striking look that game has. I just wish it was in a genre I wanted to play.
Great. We also have Marvel Token Fighting Souls bringing the X-Men into it on February 9th, sorry, on August 6th. Pre-orders for that game start on February 19th. We also have Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 2
Yes.
announced, where you get Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots, and Peace Walker.
This is a big deal for Metal Gear fans because this is the first time you can play Metal Gear Solid 4 on anything but a PS3. It has been officially released from PlayStation 3 jail after being there since 2008 when it launched.
Mhm.
Fun fact, Metal Gear Solid 4 is the only Metal Gear Solid I have played.
Metal Gear Solid 4 is the only reason I got a PS3 because at the time it was the only console that allowed backwards compatibility.
Yes, that's true.
But then I returned the game because I had no interest in playing it.
I played most of it actually. Did I finish it? I may have finished it. It's nuts. It's not as hard, I think, is the reason why I was able to finish it is because it's not as difficult as the other Metal Gear Solid games. It's more forgiving with the stealth and it's way more story based. So it kind of has a reputation as being kind of easy, which, hey, good for me. But it was a little confusing because I didn't know a lot of the Metal Gear lore going into it. So I was just like, I don't know who these characters are. I have a very limited understanding. But one of the cool things that game did was is it had basically like a compendium, like basically a Metal Gear Solid encyclopedia you could look up and you could like find, oh, this is what this character is. This is the backstory here. I hope they include that for this release. And then Peace Walker was a PSP game. So that also coming over here is interesting. It'll also include Ghost Babel as a bonus, which, in case
Yep.
people don't know, is the Game Boy Color Metal Gear Solid game.
Yeah, the first portable Metal Gear Solid title.
Yes. It was just released as Metal Gear Solid here,
Mhm.
but then Japan it had the Ghost Babel subtitle.
All right, but wait, we're not done. There's still more.
Oh, there's
Like I
believe
said,
it
it
or
was an
not,
hour-long state of play. So real
indeed.
quick here, we have the Shovel Knight Studio Yacht Games coming out with Mina the Hollower.
Yes,
Uh, you can try it yourself. There will be a limited time demo tomorrow, as of this recording, on the PS5.
that's cool, especially after them having delayed that game. It's cool to see signs of life and a demo that people can play.
We also have Neva calling Prologue, which is set years before the events of the original game, and that's a DLC that launches February 19th. And speaking of Neva, it's coming to the PlayStation Plus games catalog, along with another
Hey,
slew of games.
yeah, I saw Spider-Man 2 is coming.
Yep.
Did you ever play that?
Yeah, I finished Spider-Man 2.
That's right. Okay. I did not.
Yes, you're the one who didn't do
Yeah.
the homework. We also had Pragmata. It's the Capcom sci-fi adventure game that
Yeah,
is coming on April 24th.
they showed some footage of that at the Nintendo Direct last week, and it's an interesting mix of puzzles and shooting. I think the puzzle stuff is probably the biggest hook that the game has. I'll be interested to see what people think.
Puzzle and
Exactly.
shooting
Yes,
coming right here.
you might be into Pragmata.
Yes, let's be prepared about it. We also have Project Windless coming to PS5 eventually. Uh, and a Rayman 30th anniversary
Yeah.
coming on February 13th,
It said,
tomorrow.
yeah, five different versions, five or six different versions of the original Rayman platformer, including a never before released prototype of the Super Nintendo version, which is a neat idea. I could be misremembering this, but I remember I played a little bit of this game on the Game Boy Advance. They re-released it as Rayman Advance around the launch of the GBA. And I want to say at the time there was something about it being loosely based on that Super Nintendo prototype, but I could be wrong. I could be making that up. But nevertheless, neat that they tried to put that game, a Jaguar game originally, on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. And we also had, I mean, I'm not a big Rayman guy, so I'm flying right by it.
I'm okay with it. I think that they're interesting games. Rayman 2, which was a PlayStation N64 era game, is actually pretty good 3D platformer. But the 2D games, I think, are better, especially the Rayman Legends games they did in the PS3 era. I regularly recommend those games. Those are good.
All right. We also had Resident Evil Requiem, where we're just 2 weeks away from that installment on February 27th.
And honestly, I'm getting tired of seeing that thing. It's been at every single presentation, video game related, for the last like 6 months. And so, yeah, I'm ready for that thing to just come out because I'm sure it'll be good. I'm sure people will be very happy with it.
And then we have Rev Noir with a teaser trailer from Konami.
Hmm.
Saros with an overview trailer.
Hmm.
That's another sci-fi shooter coming April 30th.
Yes, the spiritual sequel to Returnal.
Mhm. We also had Silent Hill Townfall, the next Silent Hill game.
Yep.
More Star Wars Galactic Racers and Yako Shinobi Ops being announced.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the games. But I will mention real quick. Somebody said on Blue Sky that the Star Wars racing game looks like Burnout, and I'm like, I might be sold. I love Burnout. Yeah, so we'll see. Pretty solid show though. Jam-packed hours worth of all sorts of cool announcements and stuff that you specifically seem like you're excited for.
Oh yeah, so stuff I'll be playing real shortly here.
Cool.
All right. But you have one other thing here.
Yeah.
A team behind a free-to-play shooter, Highguard, most of them have been laid off. Highguard has only been out for 7 days.
Yeah, it's another story that we really hate to report here, but it's happening more and more in the video game industry. It's a number obsessed industry, and when the numbers are not high enough, people's jobs get lost, and this is exactly what happened. Apparently, early testing in like within the developer seem to think that, oh, people really like this concept, people really are liking this game, like it's probably going to do amazing numbers when it launches. And it started out pretty high and then has dropped off, I guess, every subsequent day. And so they just looked at it and they were like, all right, let's pull the plug early. So the game from what I understand, is not going away, nor are the servers being turned off or anything. But unfortunately, a lot of the people who worked very hard on this game to get it out in time are the ones who get to take the fall here. It's ridiculous. I can't believe we keep having stories like this, but that's the industry for you.
Unfortunately. All right. Well, have you played anything?
No. Well, I mean, like I said last week, I jumped a little bit back into the show 25
Hmm.
to get prepared a little bit for the show 26, which, by the way, another trailer is out for the show 26 today that details changes coming to Road to the Show, including an expanded college portion of your career, including the actual NCAA tournament.
Oh, okay.
So you can now play, and like I think they said like 10 more colleges too. So, and yeah, and recruitment will be based on your geographic location of your character this time, as opposed to just, I don't know, people from all around the country are trying to recruit you. They also said there's slight changes to how perks work, which if you played 25, it was kind of arbitrary when they would unlock. Now it's more clear. The game tells you what you need to accomplish in order to unlock or upgrade your perks. Um, Trying to think. There was a couple of other things, but generally speaking, it seems like more of the show, more of what you want in the show. But yeah, I played a little bit more 25 and remembered, oh boy, when you get into the pros, it is extremely hard to be a consistent closer. And that's just baseball to a certain extent. I had a stretch where I was just pitching as as well as I can, hitting my catcher's spots. I don't call my own pitches; I let the catcher call. And I was hitting my spots, and they were still finding a way to like hit runs. And I think I had a stretch where I had a 7.7 ERA.
Sounds
It
like it's
was
your catcher's fault then for
That's what
calling
I thought,
terrible
right?
pitches.
He's called well, but you can't change that. Like I'm on the
You
veteran
can't shake him off?
difficulty.
You just go, no, shake him off.
I mean, I could just call my own pitches, but I just figure, well, I trust him. Like, but yeah, so I had a skid, but I recovered a little bit. Almost got hurt when a ball hit me in like the knee or something, and I went down in the most horrific animation I've seen in the show, where I was just like practically doing the worm on my back on the pitcher's mound. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm really hurt," and then she just gets up. I was just like, "Okay." It didn't say I was injured or anything. It was just such a weird moment. Like, wow, the show is weird. Sports video games, they're really weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I have not been playing anything else really.
All right. Well, I'm still playing infield, optimizing everything, going through some end
Good.
game stuff,
I'm glad you have a computer now because maybe you can play other video games.
like more infield.
Yeah, we'll see. That computer ran Genshin Impact okay. It could probably run Infield. I don't think that game's doing too much. So, I don't know. 2080 Supers. Maybe look up what that thing can handle because a lot has changed in 6 years.
All right. Well, we got to change on here into television, where we start with the
Indeed.
sports corner.
Much smaller sports corner this week. A lot less sports happening this time.
Yes. Well, new sports are happening. Daytona weekend is right around the corner,
Daytona.
and Speed Racist himself is out to defend his title.
Ugh.
Well, it's his second title, so he's out to defend it and chasing a third.
All right, then I have to ask you the question I ask every time NASCAR comes up. Where is the watermelon guy?
I mean, he's still there. Same with Cyndaquil.
Hey,
He's still out there.
Cyndaquil. Yeah,
But yeah, they're out there. They're running this weekend, and
right.
it'll be fun. Start to the NASCAR season.
Indeed.
But we have to talk about the end of a season, the end of an
Yes.
era, or start of an era. I don't know.
Maybe.
Ask Taylor Swift because the Seahawks are your Super Bowl champions, 29-13 over the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yep, that happened officially last week of as of this recording. Bad
Yeah.
Bunny had his halftime performance. Everyone else
Yeah.
had their performances. People had a lot to say about it on social media, but we're not here to
Yeah.
talk about that.
Well, no, actually, I think we should because this is the time where we would because we didn't cover it
In the music section.
in music. So we should probably talk about the game though, since we're in the sports quest section.
Oh,
So
boring ass game.
yeah, so here's the thing: is you know this about me. I only watch one football game a year, and it is the Super Bowl. And
Yes.
so yeah, what struck me was how much about the defense it was. If you like sacks, you had a great day because you saw so many sacks on both sides. But most notably from the Seahawks, they just really just had the Patriots number through the whole thing. And yeah, it's just that were playing catch up. And when you're playing catch up into the second half, you're probably going to lose in the Super Bowl. That's just how the history of that game has worked out is that somebody who has been shut out in the first half, just like the Patriots were, are destined to lose. That's just how it's been. No one's really pulled that big of an upset yet. And yeah, that didn't change here.
Well, unless you're Tom Brady and you're facing the
Yeah,
Falcons.
but that's key here, right? Is that these were the Patriots, but they're not the Patriots that won all those Super Bowls. They do not
Yep.
have Tom Brady. They don't even have Bill Belichick. Check.
It's
And so,
okay.
yeah,
The Hall of Fame doesn't have Bill Belichick either.
that's true. They do not. Right. But yeah, no. So it's like, I think that this made sense in a weird cosmic way. It's like, oh, yeah, just as a nice reminder, like, oh, yeah, the Patriots are not those Patriots. But yeah,
Yeah. Also, nice
otherwise,
comeuppance for Sam Darnold, who was at one time the third overall pick.
yeah.
So there were
And
high
what is the
expectations for him, but
first
for the Jets,
Yeah, I saw that he was like the first Super Bowl winning quarterback to have played on five teams prior to winning, which is
yep.
crazy.
Hmm.
So congratulations. This shows that every once
Nope,
in a
that's
while,
quarterback spot. There's
yeah,
other players, 21 other players
yeah,
starting positions on the team.
sure. But yeah, still
22
interesting.
kickers count.
So I will say that even though for the most part it wasn't a super exciting game, especially if you were looking for a lot of offense, I do think it was interesting from a strategy standpoint and interesting from at least my point of view as someone who doesn't watch a whole lot of football. And yeah, also we don't need to talk about the commercials.
There
There
weren't
was
that many memorable commercials either.
literally nothing that I can tell you right now that I liked. There was one thing that was
The
interesting
best
from
commercial was
yeah,
the NBA commercial for the All-Star game,
yeah,
where everyone wants to rule the world, but they were using the players' names.
that was really silly. I thought it was stupid, honestly. I was just like, this is lame. What I was
It's the
gonna
only one I
bring,
remember, though.
well, the one that I remember because I think it's notable from a ad history standpoint is the Pepsi ad in which they make the polar bears who are
Drink the
traditionally
Pepsi.
associated with Coca-Cola get really addicted to Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Hmm.
And then they make a Coldplay concert Jumbotron joke,
Yeah, they do.
which I was like, sure, okay, I guess that's one way to modernize this concept. But besides that one moment, it felt very retro to me. It felt like something Pepsi would have done in the 2000s in a Super Bowl ad. And so to me, it was a kind of breath of fresh air amongst all the AI ads because it was,
Lots of
yes,
AI
a lot of
ads.
AI ads. But like, yeah, that was the one time I was like, that felt like a Super Bowl ad. That felt like they used to feel like.
Hmm.
And there really wasn't anything else like that. Oh, and we're not going to talk about the Nightmare Dunkin' Donuts thing or the Nightmare Jurassic Park thing. No, it, there's a lot of real stupid stuff.
Yes. But Backstreet Boys had not one, but two commercials.
That was
Well, one
weird.
they were in, and the other one they used the same song.
Yeah, I feel like they should have communicated a little bit better about that one. Because,
Why?
like,
They get both bags of
but
money.
you use same song in this. Like, I just was like, I felt like
Well,
I was
no, the
freaking
thing
out. I
you
was like,
remember
what?
is because the commercials were shown, I think, back to back.
Or if not back to back, recent enough where I was like, wait a minute, this again?
Yeah.
Because some companies in the past have done the thing where like, oh, they do an ad here and then they have like a follow-up ad later for the same product. So
Hmm.
I thought that was what was happening, but no, it was completely unrelated, which was weird.
Yeah.
And then lastly, yes, Bad Bunny. I thought it was a really interesting, like, very cool visual performance. I thought that it reminded me a little bit about what Kendrick Lamar did last year with the kind of constantly moving camera. It incorporated a lot of that.
Hmm.
It was full of a lot of Latin culture, like Puerto Rico, flags from all sorts of different Latin countries. It was like really, really uniting. It felt like Bad Bunny wanted to prove a point, and it was that we're just as like vital to like United States slash American culture as anything else. And like I think that it really resonated with, let's say, most people. But you're right. Yes, of course there was a social media backlash from, let's say, stupid people. But yeah, I thought it was a really good time.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun watching the concert. I think, yeah, does what it does, which is tell a story, showcase your talents, and get people interested in your music who may not have heard it otherwise.
Yeah.
Last year with Kendrick Lamar, this year with Bad Bunny, next year Chapel Roan. It's all encompassing different types of music that you don't normally listen to. And, you have a platform to go out there and say stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I
All
really am.
right. Um, but we have a new season to talk about. Super Bowl ended. The Seahawks are last year's champions now. We got to focus on this year.
Sure.
And this year we have the coaching carousel complete with all new hires, including the Steelers hiring Mike McCarthy, the Bills hiring within Joe Brady, the Ravens hiring within Jesse Minter, the Giants taking the Ravens head coach John Harbaugh, the Browns hiring within Todd Monken because their head coach they fired. He's over at the Falcons. Hired. The Dolphins hired within Jeff Hafley. The Titans took the Jets' former head coach Robert Saleh. The Raiders took former head coach Clint Kubiak. And the Cardinals took brother of current head coach Mike LaFleur. He was also the Rams coordinator. But yeah, LaFleur.
The floor.
Yep.
Good name.
All right. So yeah, the coaching carousel is complete. Clint Kubiak and the Raiders are on the clock for the NFL draft happening in April.
All righty.
So NFL news will now die down until the draft happens.
Yes.
The we also have the All-Star game going on with our winter sports. NBA, the 2026 All-Star game will take place this weekend, February 15th. There's a three-night event with the 13th to the 15th with the Futures and the Celebrity Game happening on the 13th. Your skills and dunk contest on the 14th with the US versus the world on February 15th in a new variation of the All-Star game.
Okay.
And then the NHL is not having an All-Star game because the Olympics are happening.
Yes, that's true. They're still on their little break.
Yep. They're actually playing right now. Men's hockey round robin tournament has officially started as of today.
Yes, and we will talk about Olympics in the thoughts section, so hold on.
In a quick second here. But first, we're missing a section, and that's MLB.
Yes,
Pitchers
we
and
are.
catchers have started reporting to spring training.
Yes.
Usually that happens the week after Valentine's Day, but because of the World Baseball Classic, they're reporting the week before.
Yes, everything is sped up because of the WBC.
Yep, that is actually starting on March 5th, with the championship game happening on March 17th in Miami, Florida.
This does mean that there is some crossover between the World Baseball Classic and spring training. This means that people who are in the WBC will not be in those spring training games until they return.
Yep,
Just a heads up. So if you're looking, hey, where's Cal Raleigh? That's where Cal Raleigh is.
yep. But if I want to watch the spring training games, where might I do that?
Well, it just so happens that that answer is in the wind. No, that answer is in the news this week because we have actually a little story that dovetails really well with all sorts of stuff we've been talking about the last few days. Where are you going to watch baseball? It's still going to be on MLB.TV. But who owns MLB TV? It's ESPN now. As we talked about months and months and months ago, so long I actually forgot that this happened.
Hmm.
ESPN officially took control of Major League Baseball's out-of-market streaming service, MLB TV, this past Tuesday, and a key component of the two sides' reworked media rights deal. Additionally, the league made in-market streaming subscriptions available Tuesday for 20 of its 30 clubs via the MLB app. MLB TV will be available for $149.99 for the whole season for those who don't have ESPN Unlimited, the company's new direct-to-consumer service, or $134.99 for people who do have ESPN Unlimited. For those who already have had MLB TV and didn't cancel like I did before the new agreements went into effect, their subscription will just auto renew at their previous price, and ESPN Unlimited is not required to roll over. For the 15 non regional sports network teams, this is key because I have a follow up to last week's story right after this. MLB TV subscription prices will be the same as last year, $99.99 per season or $19.99 per month. But I want to make a crucial distinction because this is going to be confusing for a lot of people.
Hmm.
There is a difference between paying $99.99 to get your local team on the MLB TV app and getting MLB TV, the thing that allows you to see the rest of those teams. You have to pay for both. There will be bundles. They have not announced pricing for those bundles yet,
I
but it's
saw 199 for everything.
199 for everything. Okay,
Yes.
I hadn't seen that yet because I was specifically looking at our local deal, the Angels, which at the last minute, Wednesday night, apparently, I didn't see this happen until Thursday. I didn't even realize because they came in so late. I think they dropped it purposefully at a time where nobody was paying attention.
Hmm.
But yes, the Angels will be joining many of the other teams with making a deal with the MLB to produce their games for MLB TV. They're calling it Angels.TV, which is similar to the branding elsewhere.
Yep.
And yes, that $99 per season or 19.99 per month will apply for people watching Angels games, just like Padres games, just like et cetera, all the rest of the teams that signed up for this.
Yep. If you want to find your specific team, go to MLB.TV
Yes.
and you can find your specific team for that $100
Yeah.
season purchase.
So yeah, this means I'm gonna have to do a lot of research to see what makes the most sense for me. In the past couple of years, I have gotten MLB TV. It's been cool to see other teams' games, um, and I was paying a monthly fee to have access to local Angels games. Now at least
Hmm.
it's all in the same app, which is pretty cool for me. But I also want to look into, is it worth getting ESPN Unlimited now? Because is it going to be worth it for me to get that little discount? So I'm gonna have to really look at these packages.
Right, this is where I have to look at because I get ESPN Unlimited through
Yeah.
my Hulu and Disney Plus bundle.
Yeah.
So, would I just pay the 99 for Angels or do I pay the 135
I
for
think
everything?
you still pay. Yeah, that's the question is I want to know what the bundle is, if they even exist, right? If there is something that says I am a Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Unlimited person. I want MLB TV and a local team package. How much is that? Yeah,
Mhm.
I wonder if they've done that math because I will
Right,
probably do that too. I'll probably recommend to Christy, hey, we'll be saving money because we already have the Hulu Disney Plus bundle. So I don't know. I have to do the math to figure out if we'd actually be saving there.
right. Because that's what we did when we canceled Hulu Live, is that it
Yeah.
was easier for us to do the bundle with ESPN
Yeah.
Unlimited
Right. To get your sports
because
in one place.
we were saving like $40, $50 a month because we weren't
Yeah.
doing live TV. We didn't really need live TV anymore
Right.
because football season
Every-
was over.
Yeah. Everything else is. Yeah. And baseball, yeah, has this more convenient way of watching it. It's
Yep.
yeah, it's great if you can get it. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's the deal. Also, in related follow-up news from last week, the Tigers did end up doing what they said that they were going to do, which was make a separate station that brings in their games and also the Detroit Red Wings.
Yep.
Um, then I think Atlanta is following through with their idea with the Braves network as well. I don't think I those are the two exceptions. Everybody else signed with the MLB, including the Angels. So yeah, Artie
Yeah,
Moreno didn't get what he wanted, probably because they probably wanted too much for that share of that channel, is my
yeah.
guess. And so they
No
went to plan.
Moreno Communications Network
Yeah.
Ultra Plus.
So yeah, I think they went with plan B, which is probably better anyways, the long term.
Yep,
So at least we know this is where it is. They're still going to get a portion of that money, I'm sure. They'll be fine.
yep. But you coming up for baseball season,
Hmm.
you the listener, need to figure out which deal is the best for you because it's all going to
Yes.
come through MLB.TV for streaming.
Yeah.
All right. But
We'll
speaking of
find out.
streaming and sports, we got to talk about the best thing on TV. Although the pit is very competitive right now, I'm not talking about the pit though. I'm talking about Gold Zone. And Gold Zone might lose the crown for me this year,
Oof.
but not because of Gold Zone's fault, but
Oh.
because of the Olympics' fault and the Olympic scheduling.
It's a
Because
very
there are
different
gaps
kind.
between their scheduling of when stuff is on. Because they'll show stuff at 2 in the morning, local time, but then we get the recaps because there's nothing going on between like a 2 hour block while we're waiting for stuff to start and end.
Yeah, this is the downside of it being Italy is that the a lot of events are happening late, late, late at night. And so yeah, by the time that they start the Gold Zone broadcasts, it's often too late. Um, However, I think Goldstone is still just Goldstone, and there's still a lot to love there. I do love turning it on in the morning before I leave for work and being able to see some curling or see some skiing and like just get like kind of like the pickup of the end of whatever is going on that day. And then the nice thing about the Peacock app is that you can just load up a replay of anything that you want to see in its entirety, and it's
Hmm.
just there. It's like you don't have to worry about missing anything because you can just replay it. So what we've been doing to kind of supplement the Gold Zone experience is if we miss anything, we just turn on the prime time at night and we have the prime time on, which sometimes is stuff we've already seen, but often with a new perspective, with new details, like little bits of context around it, and then also stuff that we missed. So yes, well, I agree that yes, it's a slightly weaker Gold Zone than it was before because it's not all day basically like it was.
I mean, it's still
It's
nine
still
hours, but
it's
it's
yeah,
because there's fewer
things going on.
events in the Winter Olympics and just the way they're spaced out that
Yeah.
there's definitely gaps, and they show those gaps because they do the replays. But at least if you're watching it, you get the replays. You get to see the gold medals as well as they originally happened, but also the lead up to it. Also, a good thing about Peacock is that if you are watching an event, they have the chapters below, so you can just jump like straight to Ilya doing his routine, and you don't have
Right.
to like
Yeah.
try and fast forward through all the other people.
I will say the Olympics every year give me well when they have it, not every year, but it gives me it makes me think higher of Peacock as a service. I think that what they're doing with Peacock is really cool. Like how everything is really easy to find and those little pop-ups allow you to find exactly what you want. You'll be watching something on Gold Zone and it'll be like, "Hey, do you want to watch the entire version of this?" And you'll be able to just navigate straight to it.
Yes,
Like it's very
except
smart.
when I'm watching the curling semifinals on
Okay.
delay, and then it'll pop up saying, "Hey, one reminder for who's in the gold medal match." I'm like, "But I'm watching the semis. Why are you telling me who won already?"
Well, yeah, but I think it's yeah. It just reminds me of like Peacock is I think an often slept on service, but they've done a lot of cool things with
Mhm.
Peacock. I think that that's like a really strong product.
Yeah, no, I'm really love that. Continue to subscribe to it, and Gold Zone is
Exactly.
more proof of that.
Exactly. All right.
But
Cool.
yeah, speaking of the Olympics, we do have our medal count. As of
Yes.
right now, Norway is leading everyone with 7 gold medals and 14 total medals. Home country Italy is in second with 6 gold medals, but 17 total because of those 8 bronze. So they are actually leading everyone. But in third, there's the US with 4 gold medals and 14 total medals. 7 of those, bulk coming in second place silver medals.
Okay.
Germany's in fourth. Sweden is in fifth. And yeah, medals will continue to medal, Olympics will continue Olympics for the following week because I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna watch Gold Zone every single day.
There you
All right. But yeah, I've really been watching anything else though.
go. Fair enough. All right. Well, in that case, we can safely move on and talk about cancellations and renewals.
What am I no longer watching?
No cancellations this week. Actually, a couple of renewals, though. The Floor, one of your favorites, is getting two more seasons. That will put it seven total seasons on Fox.
Yep.
We also have a ninth season coming of Running Wild with Bear Grylls on Fox. So more Bear Grylls. We also have one death, a sad one for all the Gen Xers in the room. James Vanderbeek, age 48, of course, star of Dawson's Creek and was in Varsity Blues as well. A recognizable face of 90s television, lost, unfortunately, way, way too young. So that's a real sad one.
Yep. I didn't really watch Dawson's Creek, but I did watch a lot of Varsity Blues because it was always on.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Hmm.
TV. I mean, no commercial free TV.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a sad
Yeah.
one. Colon cancer. He had it for a while
Oh.
and got to him.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate, but our heart goes out to everybody and his family and all his friends
Yep.
and
There is a
everyone who loved him.
GoFundMe I saw set up for his and his family. So yeah, if you want to go and check that out, that is available.
If you want to support. All right, let's move on then out of television and into the last section of the show, which is the movie section. And we start the movie section with the weekend box office numbers. And I get a win again this week
You
because
get a
I
true win
correctly,
this week.
yeah, I got a real one this time, which is your number one movie was a holdover from last week. Send Help, the Sam Raimi horror film, hung over to the tune of $9 million this week. That's at 34 million domestic. So pretty low number, but it did better than Iron Lung, which only charted here at number three with $6 million. We'll get to that in a second. Your number two movie, Solo Mio, which made $7 million in its debut. Uh, wait, you have. I'm guessing the second number three you have is actually the number four,
Oh, yes. I don't know. I have
which
to think
is
twice.
Stray Kids: The Dominate Experience, which of course is a K-pop concert film that made $5.7 million in its first week, and then rounding out your top five, Dracula with $4.4 million in its first week. Way down, number seven, The Strangers Chapter 3 with only $3.4 million. So yes, I get a point for that one. But we
Hmm.
have to make a decision about this coming up week. We have Wuthering Heights, the aforementioned Charlie XCX signed Emerald Fennell directed adaptation of the classic novel. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, which is a good name for a movie, but I
Yeah.
have no idea what this is.
This is a crazy time travel movie starring Sam Rockwell as said time traveler.
All right, got it. That sums it up. Then we have Goat, which I didn't know what this was until I saw an ad for it yesterday during the Olympics.
It's Steph
Um,
Curry as an animated
yes,
goat
Steph Curry's story loosely, but instead of seeing Steph Curry, he is a goat.
because he is, well, he called himself the goat
He calls
because
himself a goat, I
LeBron
guess.
is was unavailable at the time.
I guess so. They couldn't get a real goat. And then Crime 101, which seems like a star-studded cast for a movie that honestly doesn't seem that great.
Well, that's because it's from Amazon, but it stars at Hemsworth. I believe it's
Yeah,
Chris Hemsworth.
sure. It's one of them. So I don't know. What are we thinking for number one this week? There's actually some competition here.
There is competition. I'm going to
Hmm.
go with the animated family film Goat.
Really? Okay. I'm not going to go with Goat.
Okay.
I'm going to assume that Wuthering Heights does pretty well this week.
All right.
It's
I see.
Valentine's Day weekend. Keep that
Yes,
in
it
mind.
is. All right. You get your heights on. You get your Bronte
Right.
on.
Okay. Sounds good. I will get my Bronte on, as you say. And let's wrap up the show today by talking about some movie news and what movie news would not end as like what how better like what better way to end it without some awards updates, and we have one for you this week from the Directors Guild Awards, where none other than Paul Thomas Anderson has won the DGA for One Battle After Another, or as you say, the DGA for OBAA. On the TV side, The Pit won Top Trauma Series for the episode PM.
Sorry, that's supposed to be
And
6 p.m. I don't know why that got deleted.
it was a quote instead. 6 p.m. And the studio won for top comedy with the episode The Oneer, which of course was the one about oneers. Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen were on hand to dedicate the award to the late star Catherine O'Hara, of course. Netflix's Nona's, meanwhile, won Best TV Movie for its director, Steven Chbosky. So I do think that this gives pretty good credence that Paul Thomas Anderson's going to have a good time at the Oscars and will likely win Best Director there.
Most likely, yes, this is a good precursor to that. As for
Yes.
the upcoming awards, I mean, we haven't said anything else about the studio or the pit because studio and the pit continue
Mm-hmm.
dominating everything.
It's true. It's true.
All right. Well, we still got a couple awards left before the Academy Awards, including the
Mm-hmm.
Costume Designers Guild this upcoming weekend, the Annie Awards next weekend on the 21st, the BAFTAs on the 22nd, and then we have the Producers Guild on the 28th. Then we get into March, where we have the former SAG Awards, now called the Actor Awards, on
Actors.
March 1st.
Yep.
And the which is the big one we're looking at, as well as the Writers Guild Awards on March 8th,
Mm-hmm.
with the Academy Awards being on March 15th.
All right. Yep, that's true. And it all culminates then. So
I'll
looking
come up.
forward
We're
to that.
coming up on literally a month away from the Academy Awards.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
All
Well,
right.
in that case, that'll do it for the Media Boat podcast this week. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week for another episode with all sorts of new news and thoughts to talk about. In the meantime, if you want to find our videos, we're on YouTube. Just search Media Boat Podcast on there. Find our channel, like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications when new videos go live. You can also find us in audio form on podcast services of your choice by searching Media Boat Podcast on those. And lastly, if you want to email us questions, comments, feedback about the show, we will read those emails on the show. Email us at mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com. I should probably also say twitch.tv/mediaboat in case you're still streaming Enfield on there.
Yep. Well, I'll be streaming the PlayStation game,
Oh, right. Yes. Also
the
that.
Sons of Sparta.
Yes. Okay, cool. So look forward to that. Find us on find MediaBoat on twitch.tv. Sign up, subscribe to the channel, and you'll get notifications for when Mike goes live. So check that
Yes,
out.
because I will put it in the Discord,
Yes.
but it's
But no
random
one's on
and
it.
I might forget. So it's best to just follow on twitch.tv slash
Indeed.
media boat and it'll tell you when I go live.
All right.
Because sometimes
Sounds
it
good.
will be directly on the hour. It'll be like 8:17.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. All right. We'll see you guys next week. In the
Yep.
meantime, have a good Valentine's weekend.
I'll be back next week with more news, more thoughts, and more of us.
All
All
right.
right, bye.